Helmet shoulder pads. Yesterday was full pads. So, I mean, kind of getting into our normal game week schedule. Yesterday was first down, today's third downs. So, good day. There's always that transition and figuring out you're into scout periods, you're into game planning of keeping things fresh for the guy, and learning how to do it and how to perform under those those circumstances. Being with the scout team, doing all that stuff. So, but not bad. I think the effort's good. The attention's good. The focus is good, and it's just now that the adjustment of the speed of what we expect practice to be like.
With the weather coming, I mean, how do you adjust your schedule? We just go inside in the next couple of days.
Last I saw it's going to miss us when we get some rain or something up here. We'd go indoors. Depending on if the weather becomes a distraction, then we go inside. If it's a lighter rain, and it becomes more of you got to focus because you're gonna have to play in that. Then we'll stay outside. But I mean we have that opportunity to do either.
I know we talked about him a lot, but Ladarius Perkins, when you entered camp and you had that battle, and you kind of alluded to the battle a couple of years ago, how he separated himself from the pack. Is that almost the scene you kind of want to see? Is somebody kind of emerge to?
Yeah, and I've really seen Perkins do that from day one with the other guys. The nice thing though is I've seen Perkins from day one's been at the top. But I've seen the other guys, I don't know that he's maybe separated. He's pulled their level of play up, and so you feel pretty good. I like the way the guy's been running the football, and I'm gonna feel pretty comfortable giving any of them the ball and giving them that opportunity to see what they, because it's gonna be a change from practice field to prime time.
But moving Josh over to Fletcher's old position, what did y'all see that you thought, okay, I think we think Josh can fill that position, and I know it's a bit of a change for him?
One is you want a dynamic player at that position. I think he's our most dynamic defensive lineman, and I think he would have been great at that position. There's always been a lot of talk. You start rotating guys last year is, you always wanted to have both of them on the field together, but it's a good 1-2 combination at that position too last year. So. I just think, the ability to put him in a position to make plays, that's the position we want him at. And I think he's done a nice job, but he certainly has all the ability to do it. And we just got to see him now have the production on the field.
Have you seen him take ownership of this group, defensive line, as the leader, as the guy?
Yeah, I think he's worked at it. I don't know that it's all natural for Josh to be a leader as much as it is for other guys. But I think he's worked at it, and he knows that's his responsibility.
Who's the first kicker you roll out there for a field goal?
It's different every day. On Saturday?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't. I'm going to get the chart on Thursday. But like what we do is because we kind of move the kicks around. So every day it's a different guy goes first, second, third. So they're always getting at different spots. And after Thursday's practice, I'll get a chart of where everybody's hit it, and I'll go from there. And I'll pick one at that point. And honestly, I'd like to see more than one guy kick. If like I said, we have that opportunity on Saturday because there's very few guys that have done it in a game on the roster. I mean, Swedenberg's done it, but the place kicking, Egan has a couple attempts in his career. So I'd like to get some guys. Here's your chance. Go do it in the spotlight and see what you can do. And if it takes us a couple weeks if one guy statistically separates himself both in practice and during the game, then it'll be easy.
Will you send Swedenberg out there to try to kick?
No.
Okay.
He's the one. Okay. He's the only one in that whole group that's been on the field before. Okay. So,
okay.
No, I don't think he can kick.
No, he can't.
Like sometimes you got to do something. You're like the emergency to do something else.
He didn't do it.
No, he's not the emergency anything.
Who would be your emergency kicker?
Huh?
Who is your emergency kicker?
Well, I don't need an emergency kicker. I got like 4 of them all competing right now. So. If we get to that point, I'll put it right there. We'll put an ad in the reflector and see. We got 4 or 5 guys. I don't know, a bunch.
Tyler Russell can punt, can't he? I heard he didn't.
In high school?
Yeah.
I mean, punters though, I mean, you got Berg and you got Mordecai at punter. So, you know, I mean, there's guys out there, so you're not at like emergency. The emergency gets more when you go to travel and you got to cut down the travel roster and all that stuff.
Apologize, Dan, I think we've asked you this before, but do you script the first 10, 15 offensive plays? Is that something you do, philosophy 12?
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about that with new coaching staffs entering week one. Just can you talk about the pros and cons of doing that and the way you've done it in the past?
Well, I think when you look at it, it's a group effort. One, you want your quarterback involved in it, what he feels good early in the game. Two, it's what you want, what looks you want to see, or what you're trying to, you want to make, you know, you got a play call, you want to make sure you get called, or you want to see early, you put that in there. You know, and obviously the circumstances could throw you off of that, you know, I mean, and you get a third down, you might go over to your third down calls now. You get down in the red zone, you're going to your red zone calls. But I think it just kind of gives you a starting point of where you want to go, how you want to start the game, and what you're looking for. You know, if I want to see, hey, I want to see how they play empty. Well, let's get into it early and see what they're going to do with it. You know, I want to see how they're going to play, you know, a 21, an I formation. Let's get in the I and see, or okay, what if we do unbalance? What do they do to that? Whatever it is you're looking at doing, how you want to see what those adjustments are, and you script it out that way. Like 4 years ago, it was big, like we ran a double reverse pass in the first play.
I know.
So, but I mean, I want to make sure we put a stamp on what the future was going to be like. Man, now I'm kind of here, so
Right.
you know, I haven't thought about it like that. That double reverse pass was planned out for like a year, like a long time going into it. You know.
So just a one reverse.
Huh?
So just a one reverse pass system.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, now we're 4 years in. We'll probably hand it off up the middle and hear boo. You know. I mean.
Now, speaking on that, what about the game plan for this weekend? I know you got Auburn coming up after that. You want to give them a lot to look at on film, obviously, but you'll have probably a lot looking at Clemson.
Yeah, you know, we don't hold back. You know, we had that discussion. Let's go do what we do. You know, I want to do what we do well and not hold back anything. Let's just go play and put our kids in the best position to make plays in the course of the game. And I think that's within our game plan. That's what we've done.
And have you had any kids, you know, with the weather situation, what it is, you know, say, you know, or just have them say, hey, look, I've got to check on mom and dad or family members back home. Have you had this communication?
A lot of them, but we're in the safe place, so a lot of them,
Right.
their families are coming this direction instead of our guys going. They certainly don't need to go down there to check on their families right at this moment right now. But you know, I think with our guys and where we are, a bunch of our guys. I've talked to a bunch of guys. I think they have some of the families coming are already, you know, that maybe we're planning on coming up for the game on Saturday are already up here.
Go back to special teams and Perkins. Both you and him have said you're comfortable with him running back and doing kickoff returns.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, over the course of the season, you try and maybe sub him out a little bit more. And, you know, if
Well, I'm hoping we only have to do kickoff return once a game. So then I wouldn't have to sub them out, you know. I'd get on Chris about that, you know, the defensive guys. But no, you know, I think he's pretty dynamic. He can be pretty dynamic there. So I don't mind putting the ball in his hand on those opportunities. You know, one, it's I'm always very conscious of plays at the end of the game. And I think with our backs, we have the opportunity to roll some backs through. So his play total, it shouldn't get too high, and if it does, then that's one thing I'd have to look at. You know, if we don't feel as comfortable with the other guys, obviously you'd want his play total and offense is starting to get up there, then we're gonna have to cut that back.
so that's maybe, you know, say right after kickoff, if he has a longer one, you could take him off for a second and send Nick or whoever.
You could.
No,
I mean,
first
I think it's just like breaking a long run. He's gonna be ready to go again on the next play. He's in pretty good shape.
For you, Dan, this has got to feel like Wolves Park in your first game against Jackson State in the stadium. I mean, just or does it to you?
No, it is different. It's very different. You know, I mean, you still have the first game of the season type feeling.
Right.
But, you know, first game of the career is very different than first game of the season a couple of years in. This is, I don't even know how many games now. I guess I've already lost count. So.
38.
This is game number 39. You know, so it's, you know, it's the first game excitement, first game jitters. You know, I'm paranoid this week because you're kind of out of the routine. You know, I mean, of going through every, you know, to have my whistle in my bag, you know, to have your pen ready that you need on the sidelines. You know, all of those different notes of reviewing it. You get nervous about that stuff. You know, the 2-point chart exactly where I need to have it, all of those things that you kind of, by week 6, you're rolling. Week 1, you kind of, I don't know, I'll probably forget something along the way and mess something up. But the overall feelings, the excitement for the first game now, where that game was different.
You talk about those nerves, and you mentioned you want to get a lot of the younger guys out there first game. You go ahead and just throw them in the fire. Do you have any idea of which freshmen you might be wanting to play?
Yeah, I have an idea. So we'll see Saturday. You know, I mean, it's only Tuesday today, so you know, I never tell any of them they're gonna play. I want to make sure they're prepared to play, and if they prepare all the way up through kickoff, and I think they're ready to go and they're going to make contributions, we'll throw them out there.
That's good.
Couldn't stick, keep your pen and whistling
Yeah,
for
that
stuff.
all sounds like
Yeah,
sticks.
stick stuff.
I'm paranoid, you know. I mean, I do a lot of my own, so I have my stuff. Stick plays my clothes out.